Hello everybody and welcome to yet another PTE lesson. My name is Ruth and I'm going to be your trainer for today. And today I will be introducing to you the listening section, the importance and the strategies, the approaches that you will need for each types of question. And I'll be also explaining to you the order in which the questions will appear and the transferables towards other modules. So yesterday we covered the speaking module because speaking is one of the most important module. So is listening. So listening is a big supporter towards your writing module as well. So not only does listening contribute points to listening, it contributes a lion's share towards your writing. So your listening is very important for your writing as well. So without wasting time, I bring to you PTE. I bring to you PTE Listening. So before we start, this is about us and these are the types of services that we provide along with, other services. This is one of the free lessons that we offer along with our other services. Give me a minute while I pull up another PowerPoint. Okay, so your PTE listening. Your PTE listening is for a total of about 48 to about 51, 53 minutes. So you have 8 different types of questions in listening. So that's 8 different types of tasks. Listening is divided into 2 sections. The reason why, so there's part 1 or section 1 of listening and section 2. The reason why listening is divided into 2 sections is because Section 1 has a single question type, so it only possesses one question type where this question type has definite time allocated to it, allotted to it. So the question type here in Section 1 is summarize spoken text. So you'll have about 2 or 3 of these questions and each question is allocated or allotted 10 minutes. Okay, so you strictly allotted 10 minutes per question. So the section 1, based on the number of questions that you will get, is for about 20 or 30 minutes. So what happens in this summary? The task, I will be delving into it in detail while we move on, but for now, just as an introduction. So in this task, you'll be listening to an audio because it's your listening module. Always expect your question to be in the form of an audio. So you'll be listening to an audio or you're listening to a lecture and you'll have to write a summary of the audio that you're listening to. And this summary has to be inside 50 and 70 words. So your word limit matters here. In PTE, unlike another English proficiency test or unlike the IELTS, your minimum and your maximum word limits matter. For instance, in the IELTS test, when you are attempting it, you may not need to actually write 50 or 70 words. I mean, you may only need to look at the minimum word limit and your maximum word limit does not matter much. But in your PTE, your minimum and your maximum word limits matter. So you strictly stay within the 50 to 70 word limit. What I mean is not a word less than 50 and not a word more than 70. Okay, so you have about 2 or 3 of these questions. And you're given points to your writing module as well, or this question type carries points to the writing module as well. The reason is because you're writing a summary or typing down a summary. Your writing skills are used, your sentence structure, your spellings, all that is coming into picture here. So not only is this question type solely devoted to listening, it also gives you points to writing. Now, that's section 1 of your listening. Now, proceeding to section 2. Section 2 of your listening contains 7 different types of questions. So it has 7 different types of questions. So we start off with section 2. So do you remember we started off with 48 to 52, 53 minutes. So we are left with about 18 to 21 or 22 minutes. And we have 7 types of questions left. So section 2 starts off with multiple choice, multiple questions. What does it mean? you listening to an audio. So because it's your listening module, your question is always in the form of an audio. So you're listening to an audio and you're supposed to there's a question asked. So an audio is played, or you're listening to an audio and there's a question asked based on the audio that you're listening to. Okay, and then you're given options to choose from. And if you notice it, it's called multiple answer. That means there is more than a correct answer. So there's more than one correct answer. There could be 2 or 3 or 4 correct answers. So if you choose, when each time you choose the right answer, you get a point. Okay, so if you choose 1 correct answer, you get 1 point. You choose 2 correct answers, you get 2 points. But beware of this question type because it also has negative marking. So every time you choose a wrong answer, a point is deducted. So be careful of this question type. Unless you're very sure that the answer that you're choosing is correct, please do not choose it. You don't lose anything, nor do you gain anything. But if you choose the wrong answer here, then a point is deducted every time you choose the wrong answer. Okay, so the next question type after your multiple choice, multiple answer is fill in the blanks. This is a very straightforward kind of a question. So again, an audio is played because it's your listening. Your question is always in the form of an audio. So an audio is being played and the transcript of that audio is given to you or is displayed in your screen. An audio is played, so your ears are listening and the transcript of that audio is displayed on your screen. Now, the passage of that audio that you're listening to, when it is displayed on your screen, it contains blanks. Okay, so the transcript of the audio that's displayed is containing blanks. And your task is to listen to the audio while the speaker is reading out the transcript and fill in the missing word in the blank. Okay, so each time you fill in the missing word, you get a point. Suppose the transcript, or if the passage contains 5 blanks, then you fill in 5 words, you get 5 points. You get points to listening and towards writing. So every time you fill in a blank correctly, you get a point to listening and you get a point towards your writing. So this is a very important question type because it gives you points towards your writing module as well. Okay, so you'll have about 2 or 3 of these questions. Suppose there are 5 blanks given in your passage and you fill in 2 blanks correctly and 3 blanks incorrectly. You still get 2 points to listening and 2 points to writing. So this question type is quite important. Your spellings are important here. So make sure your spellings are perfect, because if you miss out your spellings, even by the tiniest bit, be it singular or plural, be it in the tense forms, even if you miss it out by a single bit, you do not get any point towards your listening or toward your writing. So your spellings are quite crucial here. The next question type after you fill in the blanks is called highlight correct summary. So this question type is again a multiple choice question. So an audio is played because that's your question. You're listening to an audio or you're listening to a lecture. And there is a question asked which will require you to choose the right summary of the passage. So you're given options and you'll have to choose which among the option is an apt summary of the audio that you're listening to. So you'll have about 2 or 3 of these questions. Every time you choose the right answer, so there's only one correct answer you have to choose from. There's a single right answer. Choose the right answer, you get a point. You do not choose it, you do not get a point. So this question type gives you points only towards your listening module. Going on to your next question type, it's called multiple choice single answer question. So what happens here? An audio is played, that's your question. You're listening to an audio, and then you're given options. A question is asked based on that audio. You're given options to choose from. So note the question, it says single answer. That's only one correct answer. So you choose the right answer, you get a point. You do not choose it, you get 0. Okay, so there is no negative marking here. There are about 2 or 3 of these questions, and every time you choose the right answer, you get a point. This is given only towards your listening, so there is no points given to any other module. This question type belongs only to listening. Now, if you look at the next question type, it is called select missing word. Okay, so what happens here? An audio is played, so you're listening to an audio is played, and the speaker is speaking, but he is not able to complete his speech, or he is not allowed to complete his speech, or you will not be listening to the last chunk of his speech. So the last word of his speech is cut off, and you'll have to choose from the options as to what his last word might have been. Okay, so the last word, each time you choose the last word, you get a point. Okay, so there are three of these questions. If you choose the right answer, you get a point. You don't choose it, you get zero. No points for that. So this also belongs only to your listening. So that's another multiple choice questions that you have. The next question type is called highlight incorrect words. So if your mind was wandering until now, please pay attention. Highlight incorrect word. What happens here? You're listening to an audio again. An audio is played, you're listening to that audio, and the transcript of that audio is displayed in front of you. Okay, so you're listening to an audio, and the passage that you're listening to is displayed in front of you. Your job is to listen to the audio and proofread every word given in the transcript. Or, in other words, you're matching, or you're looking to match, or you're checking if every word in the audio is matching to every word in the text or every word in the transcript. Okay, so every time the word in the audio matches to the word in the transcript, you it's good. But every time a word is not matching, so you're looking to see if a word is read incorrectly. Okay, so each time you listen and you hear if a word is read incorrectly or if a word is spoken incorrectly, you click on it and you highlight it. In other words, every time a word in the text does not match with the word in the audio that you're listening to, then you click on it and you highlight it. Okay, so you're moving your mouse alongside the speaker. So as he's speaking, you're moving your mouse, focusing only on the words. Okay, you let go, let go, let go. And when a word does not match, you click your mouse, you click on it, and you highlight the missing word or the incorrect word. I'll explain this question type in detail as we move as we move further into the class today. The last question type in your listening, or the eighth question type in your listening, is called write from dictation. This, my friends, is one of the most important question type in your entire PTE. If you ask me, I would say it is the most important question type. It gives you a lot of points towards your writing. So this question type can transfer at least about 40 to 50 points towards your writing. Okay, so what happens in this question type? You'll be listening to an audio like in all the other question types. You're listening to an audio, and the speaker here is going to speak one sentence. So the audio that you're listening to is going to be a sentence long. It's going to be one sentence long. Okay, your job is to listen to the audio and type down exactly what you hear. Suppose you have to quote it in writing. Okay, so there is no paraphrasing, or you do not write synonyms or anything like that. What you hear is exactly what you write. So you marked for every single word that you write correctly. Okay, so if the speaker is speaking a sentence, he says, "Go get me a drink of water," and you write down, "Go get me a drink of water." So you get 7 points towards listening and 7 points towards writing. So this question type gives you points to listening and towards writing. So I'll explain each question type in detail, and give me a minute while I stop sharing this and I pull out another PowerPoint. Bear with me while I take you. Okay, before we move on, So these are a few websites which are free and it's all over online. You can use them to practice your PTE speaking questions. The first one is a personal favorite. It's called realpte.com. It's got all of these questions. All of these websites have all your PTE question types. So there's plenty of materials online for you to practice. You can choose to use them to practice. Bear with me while I take you to the listening module. Okay, this is your listening question type that we saw so far. Okay, the first question type, like I told you, is summarize spoken text. It's a very important question type. So this contributes points to listening and writing. So what happens in this question type, or what's your job here? You'll be listening to an audio, or your job is to listen to an audio and write a summary of the audio that you're listening to. That's your task. Listen to the audio, write a summary of the audio that you're listening to. Now, because you're dealing with artificial intelligence, you can always find a way through the system. Okay, there's no need for you to sit and make a summary, write an introduction, point, and conclusion. You can always use a ready-made template to attempt this question. So I'll just give you this template. So before that, so these are the criteria, or these are the factors based on which you're being marked for this particular question type. So you summarize spoken text, you're being marked for your content, form, grammar, vocabulary, and spellings. So your content carries 2 points. So this means the content, that means the sentences from the recording. Your form is your word limit. So 50 to 70 words. So there are 2 points. You move above 70 or you go less than 50, this drops. Okay, this drops to 1. Your content is contributing 2 points, so your words from the passage are quite important. Your grammar is contributing 2 points. This is the reason why I tell you to use a ready-made template, because the grammar it's all fixed. You have a perfect template with you. So use a ready-made template. You can use anything from the web, or you can choose to use the one that I'm going to display. And then your vocabulary, or the words, you'll have to have the same words from the recording. Okay, so the sentences from the recording, so the key is to write as many keywords as you can. Okay, your content and your vocabulary, you'll have to have the same words from the recording. And then your spellings, I'm sorry, your spellings carry 2 points. So this is how you get your 10 points. So 2 points for your content, your form, that's your word limit, grammar, your vocabulary, and your spellings. Okay, so be very careful. Your grammar carries 2 points. Be careful with your articles and capitalization. So your rules of capitalization is important. Then, what is the strategy, or what is the method that you can use to follow this question type? So please pay attention to this now. So while your recording is being played, or while you're listening to the audio before you attempt this question type, what I suggest is you'll be given a laminated sheet of paper, and you're given a marker pen. So before you know this is going to be a listening section, you're going to start off with summarize spoken text. So you draw 2 lines and make 3 columns, almost like this. Okay, so what you do is you draw 2 lines, you make 3 columns. Okay, then, or you make 4 columns in this case, I'm sorry. So you make 4 columns like this on a sheet of paper. Okay, and then while you're listening to the audio, now the audio has started to play, you're listening to the audio, you take down keywords from the audio. So you take down words like this. You put your keyword 1, keyword 2, keyword 3, keyword 4, keyword 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So your job is to take down at least 28 to 30 keywords from what you're listening to. Okay, so about 20 to 25, or 20 to 28, 20 to 24 keywords from what you're listening to, 20 plus. Okay, 20 to 24, 20 to 28 keywords of whatever you're listening to. Is this clear to you? So make 4 columns and take down 4 keywords from whatever you're listening to. Okay, now what you do is you enter you type in your template. So after the audio is finished, you type in this template, okay? And in every blank provided, you put in 4 keywords. So your keywords is separated by a comma, and before the last keyword, you put in an and, okay? So you can follow any template that you like, okay? But you can use this one, right? This is a pretty easy peasy template to memorize. So you say the speaker provided brief information about keyword 1, keyword 2. So what do I mean by keyword? So keywords are important words that are repeated, okay? Then it could be names, usually nouns, then dates, any special information, adjectives, adverbs, okay? In other words, do not include words such as your conjunctions or your prepositions, or words like and, if, but, because, why, where, wherefore, therefore. Do not include those kind of words, but pay attention to nouns, okay? Names of things, words that are repeated throughout, dates, okay? Information, data, percentages, and those kinds of things to put this in. Is that clear? So you can follow this template. It's quite an easy peasy one, and you can use this. All right. Now what I'm going to do is and then you proofread and then you submit it. Okay. Or you click next in your exam. I'm sorry. So when you click next, you see that you proofread it, check out your articles, see if you've made any spelling errors. So while you're taking down your notes, or while you're writing down, remember your spellings are very important. So if you're not too sure about the spelling of the word, okay, especially if it's a name, you're not too sure how this is spelled, do not take such words. It's better you put in a word with the right spelling rather a word with the wrong spelling, and you think it's quite important but you don't know how it's spelled, you're not too sure, to not take such words or do not note down such words. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play an audio and I want you guys to try with me. I'm going to note down 4 keywords out of what I'm listening to and how I'm going to fill this in, okay? I'm just listening for the words and try and filling in this template using that, okay? So I'll be playing an audio and I'll be filling it in using this template and filling in the keywords using this template. So this is one of the websites out of the practice websites that I displayed. So this is called realpte.com. Okay, so you choose your listening module and then you're choosing summarize spoken text. Okay, now I will show you the notes that I've taken as I take it. So I'm going to write down the keywords and I'm going to show you how to take it. Okay. So choose any question choose any question that you see. So click on this option called complete questions and then you choose anything that you see. Okay, are you ready? So attempt it with me.
I suppose you wouldn't expect perhaps to find a mathematician in a museum of historical objects, but actually the objects that I've been drawn to in this museum have quite a lot of mathematical significance. These Neolithic stones discovered in Scotland, dating back 5,000 years, are probably the first examples of humans exploring the concept of symmetry. And that's what I do as a practicing mathematician. I spend my life trying to understand what symmetries are possible in nature and in mathematics and abstractly. And here, I've got a connection going back 5,000 years to people who are already trying to understand, how can I arrange patches on the side of these stone balls in a symmetrical manner? One of the intriguing things about these stones is that we don't actually know what they're for. They might have been for divination, trying to predict the future. They might have been part of a game. They look very much like dice, but we don't really think there's any game associated with them. Maybe they were just for chucking around. They're very nice in the hand when you hold them. Or maybe they were symbols of power in the clan. I suppose that's why I like them, because we don't really know what they are. if I had a theory about why they were doing this, it would be that actually they were starting to be mathematicians. And that here we see the first example of abstract thought at work, that these weren't for a purpose. Mathematics is a great subject, created a lot of the technology around us, but mathematicians, we create our mathematical objects for the joy and the beauty. So it would be lovely to think that these didn't actually have a use, that they were just really a celebration of what's possible.
So put in these 4 columns, if you can say. Okay, I think you're being mirrored. So give me a minute while I show you. Let me pull it up. Okay, I think now you're able to see what I've written. So this is how you take your notes. So take it in a neat way. So you draw 4 columns out of what you hear. You take down your notes. This is what it's going to look like. Okay, you put in your oh wait, I had not turned my video on. So if you look at it, this is what your words are going to look like. If you look at it, you see it? Okay. So you draw 4 columns and you put down your words like this, in this way. Okay, so you write down words like this. Write it down neatly. Now what you're going to do is going to put it into the template. Okay, so give me a moment while I drop a Word document, type in the template. I'll show you how to do that. Pull out a Word document. Please give me a minute. Okay, pulled it out. Now I'm going to show you how to do this. So before that, let's look at our time. So we've already, can you see the time? We are already having only about 6 minutes left. Okay. So I type it in here. Maybe I can type it right here. Okay, so this is what it is. Hope you can see my screen. The speaker, I'll just put it up. Okay. So you say the speaker provides or provided brief information about, and you put in your 4 keywords separated by a comma. So find, comma, mathematician, comma, historical museum, and expect. Then say, first of all, the speaker discussed, and you put your next keywords, that is 5,000 years dating back, stones, mathematics, a machine. Okay, then say secondly, or you say furthermore. Just furthermore, and then you put your keywords, the lecture or the also mentions, and you put in your keywords, symmetry, possible, nature, mathematics. Then you say, moreover, the speaker discusses, and you say stone balls, comma, symmetrical arrangements, and stones. Then you say, to sum up, there was information about divination, comma, game, comma, chucking around, comma, and symbols. Overall, the lecture summarizes, you say abstract thought, comma, create mathematical objects. So you keep an eye on your word limit. And we have only one more word left, that is joy, maybe. Okay, and you end it with a full stop. So this is one way, or this is a way to do it, okay? So you can use this as your template, and this is the way to get it done. And then now you proofread to check if you've got any mistakes. So while you're typing, you can see your word limit here, your word count here. So is it in your exam while you're typing, you're able to see your word limit or your word count here? Okay, and this is how you do it. I hope you're able to understand it, and I hope you're able to see what I'm trying to tell you. Now you proofread it, check for your spellings, check if you've put your full stop properly. Okay, and then you can click next and solve the next question. All right, so I'll stop sharing the screen and I'll take you back to the next question types. Now let's go looking at the other types of questions. So this is your next question type, which is called multiple choice, multiple answer. So what happens here? Like I told you, there's only one correct, there's more than one correct answer. So you'll be listening to an audio and you're given options like this. So if you can see, the options are in the form of square bullet points. So you'll have to listen to the audio and choose which among this is your right answer. So I'll stop sharing the screen. I'll pull out the other screen from the practice website and let's solve one together. Okay, so we go to this type of question, which is in listening, and it's called multiple choice, multiple answer. So click on complete questions, and then you start listening to it, okay?
Whether you're working with oil, tempera, or watercolor, it's the pigment that gives the paint its color. A pigment can either be mixed with another material or applied over its surface in a thin layer. When a pigment is mixed or ground in a liquid vehicle to form paint, it does not dissolve but remains suspended in the liquid. A paint pigment should be a smooth, finely divided powder. It should withstand the action of sunlight without changing color. A pigment should not exert a harmful chemical reaction upon the medium or upon other color pigments it is mixed with. Generally, pigments are classified according to their origin, either natural or synthetic. Natural inorganic pigments, also known as mineral pigments, include the native earths such as ochre, yellow iron oxide, and raw umber, brown iron oxide. Natural organic pigments come from vegetable and animal sources. Some examples are indigo from the indigo plant and Tyrian purple, the imperial purple the Romans prepared from a shellfish native to the Mediterranean. Today, many pigments are synthetic varieties of traditional inorganic and organic pigments. Synthetic organic pigments provide colors of unmatched intensity and tinting strength. The synthetic counterparts of the yellow and red earths are more brilliant, and if well prepared, are superior in all other respects to the native products. Inorganic synthetic colors made with the aid of strong heat are generally the most permanent for all uses. In contrast, pigments from natural sources are less permanent than the average synthetic color.
Okay, so I think these are the answers. If you look at it, that's indeed the two right answers. Okay, so that's 2 points towards our listening. So we'll read the question, and while the audio is playing, we try to choose the right answer to it. We do the next one. The audio lasted for about 2 minutes. That's all, okay, as long as the audio is played.
Noises are defined as disagreeable sounds, but this suggests that they are no more than an annoyance, something to be put up with. There is increasing evidence that noise, on the scale that people who live in big cities have to deal with, is dangerous and can give rise to serious health and social problems, some of which, such as its effects on people's behavior and anger levels, you might not have thought were caused by noise and are health concerns. There is, of course, the almost constant noise of traffic, though this isn't a particularly modern problem. In ancient Rome, there were rules to minimize the noise made by the iron wheels of wagons, which battered the stones on the pavement, causing disruption of sleep. Traffic noise is one of the health hazards, as it can lead to other problems like noise-induced hearing impairment. It is also highly distracting, interfering with speech communication and leisure time relaxation. And while this doesn't drive you mad in the medical sense, it is intensely annoying and can lead to mental health problems. Also, noise, whether you work in a place where loud machinery is operating or not, can have an effect on performance at work. Though in itself not a health matter, this can lead to other problems.
So, yeah. So this answer I was not too sure of, so I didn't choose it because this has negative marking, remember? So like I told you, this question type has negative marking. Unless I'm too sure of the answer, I don't choose it. Okay, that's how you do your multiple choice, multiple answer question. As long as the audio is played, do not spend a lot of time for this question type because you do not have a lot of time. Okay, listen to the audio, choose the right answer, and move on. Now, if you can look at the next type of question, like I told you, that's the fill in the blanks question. So I'll bring up the PowerPoint once again. So the next question type is fill in the blanks question, and this is how you're being recorded for it. So each blank carries 1 point. So each blank carries that you answer right carries a point to listening and a point to writing. So you have to fill it in the exact order. It contributes points to listening and writing. So this is how it's going to look like. So you have a audio that's being played. The text to that audio is displayed here, and it has blanks. So while the speaker is speaking, he's also going to read, or she's also going to read the missing words in the blank, and you'll have to fill in the missing words. Okay, so what is a strategy that you can employ to do this? So before your audio starts, this is displayed, and you have about 7 seconds before the audio begins. Okay, so your eyes should be on the screen. So you locate where your blanks are, and your eyes is on the screen, your hands is on the paper or on your writing sheet. Your eyes is on the screen, your hands is on your book, and your ears are listening. Okay, so every time they read out, or the speaker reads out the missing word, you write down the words one below the other. Okay, so I'll just show that to you. So if the speaker is speaking the missing word, you write it down like this, one below the other. Okay, your eyes is on the screen, your hands are writing on the paper, and when the speaker is telling the missing word, without taking your eyes off the screen, you just move your hands, you write it down one below the other. In case you miss a word, what you do is you put an X for the missing word and you write down the word below that, okay? Like this. Okay. So you write the word, if you miss out a word, you write an X, write the word next. So you know that the first word is for the first blank, the second word, so the second blank, third word, so third blank. Oh, I missed out the fourth word, so I leave that blank alone, and then I fill in the fifth word to the fifth blank, okay? You have to pay extra attention to what form the word is, whether it's in the singular plural form, whether it's in the present or past tense. Pay extra attention to what form the word is in, okay? Then, all right, and you can check. So every time you write the right answer, you get a point to listening and a point to writing. So let's start solving a few of this on our practice website. So choose fill in the blanks. So remember, eyes on the screen, hands on the paper, okay? So this is how you're going to attempt it. Maybe this one.
There are some 250 million cars in America, 250 million cars in the country with just over 300 million people, and most of those vehicles, of course, are gas-powered. This poses a huge challenge given the limited supplies of oil and the growing urgency of the global warming crisis. But there is good news, according to our guests today, and that is we have the know-how and the technology to build sleek, fast automobiles that don't use gasoline. These vehicles of tomorrow are powered by hydrogen, electricity, biofuels, and digital technology, and they already exist. So what's stopping us from putting them on the roads? Our guests today will help answer that.
So if you can look at it without taking my eyes off the screen, or maybe you can see my, but I'll just remove the mirror. Okay, so this is how I've written down my words. Okay, one below the other. So I didn't get the second word, so I put an X and I put the next word below it and the next word below it. Okay, this is how you write it. All right. Now what you do is you fill it up. Okay, the first one, I got it. It was powered. Second one was, I didn't get it, so I leave it alone and I go to the third one, slick. The last one was hydrogen. Okay, now let's check our answers. That's 3 points towards writing and 3 points towards listening. Let's do another one. The eyes on the screen, hands on the paper. Don't take your eyes off the screen.
Beautiful buildings. Along the way, we have built unashamedly beautiful buildings, 2 of which have won and been runner-up in the prestigious United Nations World Habitat Award, the first time an Australian building has received that international honor. We rely on older concepts of Australian architecture that are heavily influenced by the bush. All residents have private verandas, which allows them to socialize outdoors and also creates some defensible space between their bedrooms and public areas. We use a lot of natural or soft materials and build beautiful landscaped gardens.
Now you write in your words. The first one was unashamedly. The next one was habitat. Okay. Because look, it's an award name. So all the words in the title are beginning with a capital. All the concepts. So that was with an S. The next then are socialize. You can write it with an S or a Z. The next one was natural. Check your spellings, okay? And now look at your answer, or you click next. So unashamedly, habitat, concepts, socialize with a Z, and natural. So that's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points to listening and 5 points to writing. Let's do another one. Eyes on the screen, hands on the paper.
These 2 paintings, both called sunflowers, are generally accepted as the finest of several depictions of the thick-stemmed, nodding blooms that Van Gogh made in 1888 and 1889 during his time in Arles. The first is now in the collection of the National Gallery in London, and the second is in the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam. Van Gogh referred to this work as a repetition of the London painting, but art historians and curators have long been curious to know how different this repetition is from the first. Should it be considered a copy, an independent artwork, or something in between? An extensive research project conducted over the past 3 years by conservation experts at both the National Gallery and the Van Gogh Museum has concluded that the second painting was not intended as an exact copy of the original example, said Ella Hendricks, a professor of conservation and restoration at the University of Amsterdam, who was the lead researcher on the project.
Okay, so what was the first word? It was depictions, I think. The next one is repetition. The next one was curious, I think. And the next one was extensive, original. Okay, now proofread your words, then look at your answer. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points for writing and 5 points to listening. That's how you solve this question type. Now we'll go on to the next question type of listening. Next question type that I'm going to bring to you today is called, sorry, give me a minute, I'll pull up the PowerPoint. Okay, so next question type is called highlight correct summary. So an audio is being played and you're given options, okay? Do you like to choose which among these is the right summary or the apt summary to the audio that you're listening to? So every time you choose the right answer, you get a point towards listening only. So let's see how to do this question type. I'm going to the practice website. Okay, now listening, we're going to look at it like this. Go to, listening, and we're going to do summarize No, highlight correct summary. This is the one. So we listen to the audio, we try to choose the right summary, okay?
It seems as though people are starting to suffer from global warming fatigue. In other words, they're tired of hearing about how our climate's changing for the worse and how we're destroying the planet with pollution. People do care, but there's a lot of talk, little action, and certainly no solution yet. The stories people see in newspapers focus on the negative. They talk about how politicians are choosing the economy over the environment, especially in these difficult economic times. And they write about people whose lives have been negatively affected by extreme climate change. Why should we spend our free time reading articles that make us feel depressed and probably quite helpless? Global warming campaigners must turn the sad stories into happy ones. They should talk about the actions that are having a positive effect on climate change, so that people become interested again and feel motivated to continue taking action.
Okay, so looks like that's the summary. Oh, that's the wrong answer. So there's no negative marking. So that's the first one, okay? Let's do the next one.
Hello again. Well, we're near the end of our unit on newspapers. I'm going to talk about our national paper, USA Today. Some of you might recognize it as the topic of this week's reading assignment. USA Today, is now more than 25 years old. When it began, few expected it would last this long. Well, not only has it lasted, it has thrived. USA Today is the largest selling daily newspaper in America. It is also distributed in many countries around the world, but that's only part of the story. The real success of USA Today is the way it changed the newspaper industry. USA Today changed the way papers look. It changed the way reporters write. And it changed the way papers gather and deliver news. USA Today set out to be different. Newspapers at the time were in trouble. Fewer people were reading them. The papers were full of bad news about crime and killing. They had long stories. They didn't have color photos and...
Okay, so is it this? Maybe. I think that's the answer. We'll look at it. So that indeed is the answer. Okay, so every time you choose the right answer, you get a point towards listening. There is no negative marking here. Now let's talk about the other question types, the remainder of it. So followed by highlight correct summary, where you have to highlight what the right summary of the listening passage is. You have multiple choice, single answer here as well. An audio is being played and there's a question that's asked based on this audio, and you're given options like this. So while you're listening to the audio, you choose the right answer. So there's only one correct answer. So listening has a lot of multiple choices, right? So we go back to the practice website and see how this question type looks like. So while you are listening to the audio, run your eyes through the option, trying to choose what the answer would be. So multiple choice, single answer, I think. Okay, let's say single answer listening. That's what SAL stands for. Let's do the first one.
Good afternoon, Miss Davis. I was told by James that you wanted to see me in your office.
Oh, I did. Thank you for coming, Jean. Have a seat. How are you? Is everything going fine?
Yes, pretty much. What about you, Miss Davis? I haven't seen you for a while.
Yes, I was away for a while. Actually, I went to Arizona and met your mother there. Didn't she tell you about it?
No, she didn't, but that's great. How is she?
She is fine. To me, she is still as exuberant as she was 20 years ago. You will never know how great a teacher your mother was. Anyway, how was your semester?
It was fun. The teachers were nice, especially Ms. McKenna. I loved her class. Strange, I never liked math and struggled so much until I met Miss McKenna.
That's great. How was she so wonderful?
She spoke softly and explained thoroughly. She answered all of the questions earnestly. I wish all my teachers were like Miss McKenna.
Many of her students made that comment in the past, too.
Who could have guessed that I could get an A in math?
Why not? You're smart. You can get an A in any subject you want as long as you try.
I believe so. I should have tried harder instead of giving up and neglecting the hard subjects.
So is it Ms. Davis made the student realize that nothing is hard? students realize that she can do things if she tries too hard. So this question type has no negative marking, so choose the right answer while you're listening to it. So there's a secret with this question type. All your multiple choice questions and listening. So there's a high chance that not when you're practicing, not when you're using your practice website, but in your test, there's a high chance that the third option is likely to be your answer. So if you get stuck and you do not know the answer, simply choose the third option and move on, okay? So let's look at the next type of question here. The next question type is select missing word. So the speaker is giving a speech, okay? And he's not able to complete his speech, and you'll have to choose from the options what his last word or last words would have been. So let's see how this looks like. Select missing word, okay? So before we start,
earlier this year,
I'm sorry. So the speaker is speaking and you see those words, he's not able to complete his speech, and you'll have to check what his last word would have been, okay? What the missing word would have been based on the lecture. So your listening skills are used, you're also going through your options. So every time you choose the right answer, you get a point to listening.
earlier this year, I was driving through the countryside with a little girl of 6, and she pointed out some flowers by the wayside. I asked her what she thought flowers were for. She gave a very thoughtful answer. 2 things, she said: to make the world pretty and to help the bees make honey for us. Well, I thought that was a very nice answer, and I was very sorry I had to tell her that it wasn't.
It wasn't true. It was not true, or if it's not right, I think it's true. So there were 2 answers for it. Either it's not true. Okay, the answer was not true. Not true is the answer. To another one. Okay. So that's how we solve this question type. Now, let's go back to the most important question type. Oh, this is one of the important question types, so highlight incorrect word. This also gives us points towards reading. So this is an important question type, and this question type has negative marking, so it's quite important. So what happens in this question type? Let me share the practice website screen with you. So listening, highlight incorrect words. So let me show you. An audio is played and the transcript is displayed here, okay? So your job is to say if the words in the audio match to the words displayed in the transcript. So the transcript, every word should match every word in the audio. That's what we're looking at, okay? And every time a word does not match, you click on it and you highlight it. Okay, you're proofreading and you're highlighting the wrong words. But if you choose a word that's right or rightly read, you get -1. So be very careful. Do not choose a word unless you're very sure of it, okay? So listen carefully. So how you do it? Your mouse is moving or your pointer, your cursor is moving as the speaker is speaking. So do not care to understand the meaning of the passage, only worry about the words, okay? Let's go.
Fluoride helps fight cavities. That's why it's in our drinking water and toothpaste. But how this mineral works its dental magic is still somewhat mysterious. Now, researchers offer an incisive solution. They find that fluoride treatment can loosen bacteria's grip on tooth enamel, the studies in the journal Langmuir. Scientists used to think that fluoride could harden tooth enamel, helping it retain the minerals that protect teeth from the acid produced by our oral flora. But recent work has shown that fluoride doesn't really penetrate past the tooth's thinnest outer layer, suggesting that something other than hardening is going on. To drill deeper into this toothsome mystery, researchers whipped up a set of artificial choppers, made of the same stuff as teeth, and they used atomic force microscopy to take a closer look at how bacteria interact with this dental material. They found that 3 different strains of cavity-causing bugs cling less tightly to enamel that's been rinsed with fluoride. The bacteria carry a net negative charge on their surfaces, so the negatively charged fluoride ions in the treated enamel may be literally repulsive to the bacteria, which encourages them to bite the dust.
Okay, so let's look at the answer. Okay, see, we've marked all the words that was read wrong. So that was quite a fast audio. Okay, so see that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points towards listening because we've got it right. This also gives us 2 or 3 points towards reading. Okay, let's do another one of this because it's an important question type.
What's an article? What's an article? I was asking myself this very question in the post office yesterday, standing in line waiting to sign for, as it so happens, an article, a postal article, not the postal article. Now, before we get ahead of ourselves, an article in English is a word that precedes a noun and simply indicates specificity. This sounds quite complicated, and to be honest, it's quite complicated to say without spraying everyone within 15 feet, but the concept's quite simple. The definite article in English is the word the and indicates a specific thing or type. For example, the train is an hour late. By contrast, the indefinite article in English is any of the words a, an, or some, and the indefinite article indicates a non-specific thing. For example, would you please pass me an apple? We always precede a word with a if it doesn't start with a vowel sound. For example, take a hike. I'm spending a weekend at Bernie's, or there's a knight in shining armor. Similarly, we precede words with the indefinite article an if they do start with a vowel sound. For example, an ostrich, an enormous mess, or an occupational health and safety policy.
So that was 3 words that was told wrong. Okay, so that's how we solve this question type. So be careful because this has negative marking. Now, let me take you to the last question type of listening. Which is called write from dictation. This is a very, 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 very important question type because it can transfer 40 to 50 points towards your writing. So what happens here? You will be listening to an audio. An audio is played, and the audio that you're listening to is going to be one sentence. Okay, so a sentence that means it ends with a full stop. So remember very carefully, you are listening to an audio. The audio is going to be just one sentence long. Your job is to listen to the sentence and write it exactly as you hear it, or type it exactly as you hear it. Okay, it's because it is a sentence. It starts with capital, ends with full stop. So while you type out your sentence, start with capital, end with full stop. Okay. Now, how are you being marked? Every word that you write correctly, you get a point to listening and a point to writing. So if there are 7 words in that sentence and you write all the 7 of them correctly, you get 7 points to writing, 7 points to listening. And when you started with capital, ended with full stop, it gives you extra points towards your grammar. Okay, that's why you start a word with capital, you end it with full stop. Is that clear? Don't worry about the other punctuations. Now, what are the strategies or methods that you can employ to write it? First, listen to the sentence. While you're listening to the sentence, you write down the first letter of every word that you're listening to. So listen to the sentence and write down the first word of every sentence, first word of the sentence that you're listening to, first letter of every word that you're listening to. So while you're writing the initial letter or writing the first letter of every word, repeat it as you write so that it doesn't drop off your head, okay? And then complete that sentence and then type it into the box that's given, right? So let me show you how this is done. So I want you guys to pay attention. So this is one of the most important question type. So I'll do one, okay, and show you how to write the initial letters or the first letter of every word that you're listening to. Start it in capital or begin it in capital, end it with a full stop, Okay, listen, repeat, and write the first letter. Complete the sentence, type it in. Ready?
Roads should be clear so that traffic can move smoothly.
So you write the initial letter. Now I'm going to complete it. Here, so that the traffic can move smoothly. Okay, then I fill it up. Ended with a full stop. So how many words are this? This is about 10 words, right? So 10 words. That gives us, is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 words. So that's 11 points to writing, 11 points to listening, okay? So I'll just show you my note, okay? Let me change the, this is how it is going to be. Can you see it? You write down the initial letter, then you complete it, and then you fill it up, okay? That's how you do it. Now, let's do another one, or let's do the next one.
The ability to act on your own is called autonomy.
To act on your own is called autonomy or tautonomy. I have no idea, okay? Then it's completed. The ability to act on your own is called autonomy. Or is it autonomy? I have no idea. The ability to act on your own is called, is it autonomy? Autonomy. Okay, so that's about 10 words. I have a doubt with this word, okay? Okay, that's correct. So the ability to act on your own is called autonomy. That's 10 points to listening, 10 points to writing. Let's do the next one.
I didn't understand the author's point of view on immigration.
Author's point of view on immigration. Then I complete it. I didn't, should be didn't understand the author's point of view on immigration. Okay, then I write it in, type it in. I didn't understand the author's point of view on immigration. Okay, let's look at the answer now. That's 10 points. Okay, I write the first one. I get 1 point to listening, 1 point to writing. Didn't is correct. It's 2 points. Understand is correct. 3. The is correct. That's 4. Authors with the apostrophe S. That's 5. Point is correct. Of is correct. View is correct. On is correct. Immigration. So you'll have 3 or 4 of these questions. So like you say, each question carries 10 words at least. You get 40 points to listening and 40 points to writing. So this is one of the most important question type, and it requires you to practice every single day. So I'll give you a quick recap of what we learned today before we conclude today's session, okay? So what is our recap What did we learn today? So we learned about PTE listening. These are the types of questions. There are 8 different types of questions. Section 1 of listening is this question type, which is called summarized spoken text. So here you're given 10 minutes for each question. There are 3 questions. This also gives you points towards writing. Here you listen to an audio and you summarize it. So I gave you a template, or I showed you a template. So here you make columns, you write down your keywords and you fill it into the template, okay? That's section 1. And section 2 of your listening has 7 different question types. We looked at so many questions with options, or they are called multiple choice questions. So like I told you before, if you get stuck in your multiple choice questions, always choose the 3rd option, okay? So very high probability. So multiple choice, multiple answer, you listen to the audio, your eyes is running through the options, choose the ones that you know for sure is the right answer. There is negative marking here unless you're sure. Do not click on anything, okay? If you get stuck here, choose the 3rd option. Fill in the blanks, eyes on the screen. So you're listening to a reading passage and you're given a text transcript with blanks. You're given passage with blanks. So your eyes is on the screen, your hands is on the paper, and you write down the words one below the other so that you know the first word for the first blank, second word, second blank. So you write it down one below the other, and then you type it in. Your spellings matter. Keep your ears open for the forms of word, whether it's in the past present tense, whether it's in the single or plural form. Next question type was highlight correct summary. Here you'll have to choose what the right summary is. Every time you choose the right answer, you get a point. There's only one correct answer, no negative marking, okay? So choose the 3rd option for this question type if you get stuck. The next question type is multiple choice single answer. Sorry. Again, an audio is played and you're given a question is asked based on that audio. You're given options. So keep toggling or keep reading the options while the audio is being played and choose it, okay? So the main thing is your time management here. So for you to manage your time well, because your write from dictation appears only in the end and you only have about less than 20 minutes for all the 7 question types. Do not dwell, okay? Don't waste your time. Choose the 3rd option for such questions. Then same thing for your select missing word option is audio is played. You'll have to choose what would have been the missing word of the author. And if you get stuck here, choose the 3rd option. Keep going because there is no time to lose. Highlight incorrect word. This is our important question. There is negative marking for this. You proofread, you see if the words in the text match to the audio that you're listening to. Every time a word does not match, click on it and you highlight it, okay? Then comes your write from dictation. So you listen, repeat and write down the initial letter, fill in the initial letter and then type it in. Proofread, check if your spellings are correct, and then you submit it. You can spend about 2 to 2.5 minutes per write from dictation, okay? So that's all for today's lesson. Hope you guys learned something, and see you again in the next lesson.